All right. Well, welcome all to our validation session for transitional pain. Um, so I'm going to just go through our slides just like we did the others. So to ensure that the current design and build is available for go live, we may not have the capacity to make significant additional changes. However, we will consider your feedback. So the purpose of the session really is to validate the design of the VGH transitional pane and ensure scheduling requirements will be met. So we're going to review your books, your bookshelves, the resources, all the schedules. We're going to review the appointment types. We're going to look at the preps and the guidelines. And we're going to go over the request list, the orders, and reports. All right, so this is your bookshelf. This is what it's going to look like. It will say VGH Transitional Pain Bookshelf. It will have, the first book will be what we call an all resource book. It will have every resource in your clinic will be in this book. So it'll get a little crowded, but it's good for when you're wanting to look to see who got what booked and kind of how the day looks. And then you can go more granular by going into the actual specific books. So we have an MD book, which has all the providers. We have an RN book. We're going to have a PT book, an OT book, a psychologist book. There is a pharmacy book. So when you get a pharmacist, you will already have it there. And then the case conference book. Do you have any questions on your books right now, Grace? Does that look good?
Yeah, it looks good. Thank you.
Okay. So now, so this is kind of what I just talked about, but a little bit gives you what the resources were. It's just like all of what I just said. So let's go line by line, and we're going to make sure that every resource has the correct schedule.
Oh, Brian, sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
The group class, is there a different book for that or?
No, the group class actually will be inside the books.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll show it to you here. So there's two groups right now. There's a MD group and a psychology group, and they're within those specific books. So let's talk about the resources. I have for Dr. DeGraff, he doesn't have a set schedule. It'll be just on demand, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and then we will also have the same thing for the pharmacy. Since we don't have a pharmacist right now, there's not going to be a schedule. And for the conference is just whenever they have time, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there is no set schedule for that. So I do have for Dr. Butterfield, 1 to 4 on Mondays. Dr. Azar, 9:30 to 2 on Wednesdays. Chen, I have 8:30 to 11 on Thursdays. And Mayan is 1 to 4 on Thursdays. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Then I have Alex has a 8 to 4 on Tuesdays, starting on 3/14. And it's every other. And then I have an 8 to 4 on Wednesday and Fridays every week.
Oh, for Alex, it's Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. For Sarah, I have 8 to 4 Tuesdays starting 3/21 every other. And Wednesdays and Fridays 8 to 4.
Brian, again, it should be Thursday.
Should be Thursdays.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any Friday schedules?
We have Dr. G who works on Fridays. She's
Okay.
the only one who works on Fridays. Yeah.
She's the only one on Fridays. Okay. So I see a few more changes we're going to have to make. So I have Dr. G Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays from 8 to 4. I have the psychologist only on Thursdays from 8 to 4. I have Lana that has 8 to 2:30 on Tuesdays, starting in 3/7, and then 8 to 4 on Tuesdays, starting on 3/14 every other. And then I have an 8 to 4, but that should be Wednesday and Thursday for her.
Yes, yes, that's correct. Should be Thursday.
I then also had the VGH TPC, the secondary RN, that would be following the same schedule. And that will be a Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
All right. So you may see in your schedules, and you may come across this, but just more for your knowledge. Surgeons have what we call the white open slots so that you're able to see their surgical schedules. So if you ever see those, don't book any transitional pain appointments inside them and do not remove them. Shared resources. Some providers work across multiple clinics. All applied slots and scheduled appointments will display under those shared resources. So if you see another clinic's schedule, that's to help prevent double booking. So please do not book into or remove slots from any other clinics. So we have quite a few appointment types. So we're going to kind of just slowly walk our way through this and just tell me if nothing makes any sense. Okay. So we have the acupuncture. It's going to be 60 minutes. It's done by the PT. And it's going to be set up on the orders of schedule acupuncture and follow-up clinic. I'm going to have a PT new, which is 60 minutes. And it'll be under the follow-up clinic order. We have a TPC case conference, 60 minutes. It's going to go to the case conference, and then I will show you how you'll then block anybody who is going to be participating in that. I have an initial consult at 60 minutes for the providers. It'll be tied to the referral for outpatient transitional pain and the accept referral. We have the MD follow-up post and an MD follow-up pre-op, both 30 minutes for the providers. And then now we have what we call an MD group. It's 90 minutes for the providers. And it's schedulable through the order of follow-up clinic. We have an OT new, 60 minutes for the OT people, personnel. We also have OT follow-up, post-op, and pre-op, 60 minutes. We have a pharmacy follow-up, post, and pre for 15 minutes. I just set them at 15 minutes for now. If when you get a pharmacist and they need to adjust this, Grace, you'll just put in a ticket to have them adjust the times.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then there'll be a pharmacy initial also set up for 15 minutes for the pharmacist. Next page. So we have psychology follow-up, post-op and pre-op, 60 minutes. We have a psychology group, 60 minutes. We have a psychology screening, 60 minutes. We then have a PT follow-up, post and pre, 60 minutes for PT. We have RN post-op and pre-op. We have a triage call post-op and pre-op, 15 minutes, all providers. We have a nurse assessment, which is a nursing new, and it's 30 minutes for all the RNs. And then we have what we call a block time, which everybody is associated to. Do you have any questions right now on any of the appointment types?
Oh, I'm just looking at the nursing assessment. Is that the because Lana, when she does the nursing intake, like what we call it, the interview, it's usually 60 minutes. Or is this just a triaging assessment?
Well, there's the triage call you have that are for 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because usually for Lana, when she does the intake, it's 60 minutes. It's
Okay,
booked
so
as
we need
60.
to make the nurse assessment 60 minutes. Okay. All right, definitely can do that. Any others that you saw?
No, I think that's it. The rest
Okay.
of them are good.
Hi, Brian, it's Love.
Yes, ma'am.
Grace, did you had the question about the groups, about the naming of it?
Yeah.
Because you have the MD and the psychology group, was that?
Oh yeah, I just thought they have a different what do you call this? It's like a separate book, but if it's under MD, that's fine because the MD is usually under Dr. Butterfield, so he facilitate those group class. It's called the breathing class, and then Dr. G facilitates the other class, Dr. G and Dr. Mian facilitates the sleep class.
Okay.
So with that, so when I show you how to do the group appointments, you'll be able to, in the description where it says TCC MD leg group, you can put what kind of group that is that they're doing, whether
Okay.
it's breathing class or whatever.
Mhm.
That way you will see it on the schedule. It'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what the class is.
Okay.
And that
Great.
gives you the ability to distinguish what the class is supposed to be for. And I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So are we okay with the two groups that I have right now? I have the MD one, which has Dr. Butterfield or Dr. Mand, and then I have one that's the psychology.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need any others.
Well, as of now, that's the only two usual classes that we run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can always add it like in the future, right? Because I think Dr.
Yes.
G and that team were like they're trying to create another class, but I think that's in the future.
Right. So like I said here, when we go in and you do the right click create group, you have the ability, this is what we call the group type. And then right here on the description is you can name it however you want the group to be named. So the breathing, TPC breathing class, or TPC meds management, or however you want it. And then you can name it so that you'll know specifically what that class is for. And then down here on the providers, you choose which provider you want for that class. Okay, Grace?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that should make it really easy for you guys. If you expand classes, you can just do that. All right. So I am going to jump into the scheduling demo. So when your schedule book opens for the first time, you will have your bookshelf, and this is easy to set up for you. So it'll be right there every time. We're going to go to options, navigation, and we can default your book in, and it'll always come up to your book. So now whenever I do the schedule, open it up, it defaults right to your book. It'll make it a lot easier for you. So inside here, inside are your books. So this is your all book. This has every resource inside your clinic. You will see all of their schedules. You will see when they have things booked. Like you can see there's a psych class here with Dr. G. It blocks her schedule so that it knows that she is involved. There's another one here. There's the MD group. And it blocks the provider and which is doing the actual group. And then you can see other people are booking in here. And then these are where you see those slots at that are maybe other people's. So like Dr. Butterfield has SPH interventional here. Does that make sense, Grace?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
So always here in the corners of these appointment types are like different icons and things like that. And it gives you information. Like this icon tells you there's information, slot information. This is a group. It tells you about it. The little 4 squares here will bring us up this little window, and it tells you all of the patients that are inside your group that have been scheduled for it, who the resource is, and it tells you how many you can do. So this has a capacity of 4. Right now, there's only 1 person scheduled. It's not shared, and it is open. So that gives you all that information if you ever need to know, well, who's in this class? So the appointment types, when you go to do your appointment types, VGH trans pain. You click on the ellipses and it lists out all of your appointment types. You can even make the window a little bigger so you can see them all. You pick the appointment type you're needing, and then you can book it. And this is doing what we call direct book. Okay, this is without having orders or something coming to you. You have the ability to book an appointment. But most of the times for you now, you'll be coming through what we call the request list. Inside the request list these are all the different request queues that are available. We are going to do ambulatory transitional pain, your location, and find. And then these are all the orders that are coming into the clinic, Grace. So you can sort these columns however you feel led to do. You can sort it by person. You can sort it by appointment types. You can do it by orders. So which ones, however one you want to pick and deal with first. Are you still able to see my screen?
Yep, I can.
Okay. So as the providers are placing their orders, the first ones that are for external coming into you would be the referral to outpatients. So these are those referral orders that we were talking about. And it gives you all of the information that comes from that provider. So they place the referral, estimated date, when they requested it, when their priority they say they want it for the next available within 24 hours, whatever. How do they want that patient seen, whether or not there's an interpreter needed? The reason for the visit, who the ordering provider was, where they ordered it from. Sometimes you need to know what location they ordered it from. What encounter they were using. Some of this is you won't need it right away, but you can get information every now and then from this if you're doing research or trying to figure out where somebody came from or how to get in touch with them. There's the preferred phone. And the nice thing about this is you can adjust the columns how you want it. So you just right click on here, go to preferences, and then you can move these columns up and down. So we want to do the preferred phone number. So we want to move it up a little bit closer to, let's say, the ordering provider. And then we do OK. And now you will notice the phone number is up here closer to the ordering provider. Right there. So that way you can be able to easily call that patient. Okay. Rest of these really don't really pertain to you. If there's special instructions, they will be right here. So eventually, once we get you set up with your scheduling, we can go in there and help you clean up some of the columns that you don't need. That way it makes it a little bit more cleaner for you so that you know what you need to work with. Does that make sense, Grace?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So again, so that's when the providers are sending a referral into you. Up here this is the follow-ups. So for everybody in your clinic, so you have like a transitional pain, the psychology, the pharmacy, physical therapy. In here, it tells you what appointment type they requested. So the order came from them for the transitional pain. They want an MD follow-up. So then when you right click and you do complete, it brings you over here to this window that just tells you any future appointments that this patient may have. Just do OK. These are the guidelines that you will say. This is saying that we don't have anything in the reminder field. It's just to remind you to make sure you get that filled in.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to answer a couple questions. And it takes it into the window, into what we call the WIP, work in progress. And then this is how you're going to book it. So it depends on if they had a specific provider that they wanted that seen to, or first available. So then you would know who's going to be there and when. And for you, you're just going to drag and drop it to that time and that provider. Let's say it'll be for an hour. It puts it on their schedule. We have red books, so we're ready to confirm the appointment. We're going to confirm it. This is your confirmation window. this will, this is what tells you everything about the appointment. So it tells you the date, the time it's going to happen, what kind of an appointment, who is with, the orders that it's tied to, and these are what we call the preps. And this is everything that I pulled from your sheets that you gave me. And so there's like the address, the VGH patient common risks and limitations, whether they missed 3 appointments. And then if there's any questions, to email or call you. You can print this out and give it to the patient, or you can mail it, or you can print it out, rescan it, and you can email it. You didn't do okay. You're going to do a quick, what we call a pre-outpatient encounter. You're going to add an encounter. Pre-outpatient. It checks the external MPI. And it brings up this outpatient conversation. We only have a couple of fields that we are responsible for. The encounter type is what we call pre-outpatient. Medical service will always be here, pain medicine. And then if you did it from within scheduling, it automatically fills in your estimated date of arrival, complete, gives you an encounter, and you're done. And that's booking your patient. Now, if you go back over here to your request list, it will now be gone from your request list. It is no longer on there. And then that's how you book a patient from start to finish.
Brian, quick
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
For that scheduling, I noticed that it doesn't say the mode of the appointment, like a Zoom, a telephone, or in person.
All right. So let's go back. So right here, when we're answering the questions,
Okay. Oh, it says their modality.
right here, it says, how do you want this? This is your visit modality right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because the provider said in person, it automatically defaults that in.
To in person.
Now, you could have changed that and said, I want it as a Zoom for healthcare. And then, do you want a reminder is right here. And they say, yes, they want it by their mobile phone. Then you would just put in the phone number. Right, the 10-digit number.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else, no leading ones, no nothing, just the phone number. And then you would just continue on. And that's how you would change the modality.
Okay. And I see it says there on the next line, it says telehealth. Is that where we put the?
This is no longer used, that's why it's
Okay.
grayed out. So there, if you need to add anything, you could add it to your scheduling comments. But you're talking about that Zoom invite information and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is separate.
Okay.
Okay. They have not integrated this yet with the Zoom setup yet. So right now we're just saying that the visit modality is going to be by video. So you do okay. And then you do the same process of walking through and putting it on the provider. See how the patient did not turn red? That means there's a conflict. The patient already has an appointment during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So you would just remove it, move it down to somewhere where they don't. And you'll notice now it all turns red. That means everything is happy and satisfied in the system. And you're good to go. Confirm it. And this provides all the Zoom information here. Is this your Zoom link right here?
Well, yeah, what is that? Okay.
Well, see, like I said, I copied it from the document that you gave to us, and it had the Zoom link already in it. So is this your standing Zoom link?
No, because every Zoom appointments for each patient is unique. Could it be that this is the general Zoom link, like our
Probably.
account?
Yes.
So it shouldn't be there, I guess.
Okay, so we need to remove that.
Yeah, because I usually create a unique Zoom link for each patient. And then they click on that too. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And then let's see, what else does that have? It has just instructions on how to deal with Zoom. And if you miss your 3 sessions, oh, and then it has the emergency numbers that you had on your documents.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So we'll keep those. And we're just going to take out the Zoom,
The Zoom, yes.
Zoom link, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We can definitely do that. All right. So do you have any questions on that?
Oh, no, it's good.
Okay. So we'll jump back over here into the demo or into the slides. Sorry, I got to figure out where my slide thing went. Slides. Can view. Sorry, my PowerPoint just went nuts.
Okay.
All right, we're just going to have to do it this way. For some reason, it won't go into presentation mode. All right, so we've done the scheduling build. These are those guidelines that we were talking about that tells you about whether or not there's a reminder inputted in that field that we just talked about. If there's not, you will get these little guidelines that just say, please make sure you put that in. And then if you ever say yes to the interpreter, it gives you this guideline, which is all the addressing for the interpreter, for being able to schedule the interpreter. This is the patient's prep. Again, I just showed you this. It's on the confirm. It gives you the appointment type and all the preps. We have a what we call the patient itinerary report. because this is what you could mail out to the patient. It has all of their information on it. It tells you the appointment type information. It's the date, the time, what kind of appointment, who it's with, how long, the location, which would be yours, trans, but this is the important part. It tells you whether or not it's inpatient or it would say Zoom or virtual. So that's how they would know what kind of an appointment they have. And then these are the preps that would print with that report that go along with this. It's the same preps that are in the window up there at the top. It's just in this printout. So groups are actually really easy to do. In the appointment book, if you right click, and you go up here and go to actions, group session, create, and then we're going to do TPC. It gives you your two groups, whether it's the MD or the psychology. If I do the MD, see how the description is open? So test for breathing session. You can put in whatever you want. We're going to have it at the location of VGH trans pain. The capacity you can adjust, so you can add as many as you want. This is what we call an open session. The date in which you want it to happen and the time in which you want it to happen. So we want to, let's say we want to do it at 1400. Use this drop down and you can choose which provider you want it for. Then you're going to just do okay. And it's going to say there's a conflict, and that's because we're including the providers in here now. So you're just going to highlight it, override. Yep, we're just overriding it. And then we'll do okay again. And it now booked the, that was a provider one, wasn't it? At 1400. Right here. So now you have the session. It blocked out the provider who's doing it. And then you can see how many patients are going to be in there. Does that make sense, Grace?
Yeah.
It's actually really easy. If you do this beforehand, then when you actually go to book the patients into there, you can easily find these groups and just drop them in wherever you want them. So if you can get to the point like they say, well, the first Tuesday of every month at 3 o'clock, we're going to do this. Then you can set up these ahead of time. And then when you make your appointments, you'll actually be able to find them faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick
I mean,
question,
it
Brian.
may not possibly be that way, but if you ever get to that point where you kind of know ahead of time, you can kind of preset stuff up for yourself.
Okay, great. Yeah. Quick question, Brian. So this one is just to block the time, right?
Correct.
Yes. And how do I enter the patient in under that time? Because that's what we usually do in PCIS.
Correct. So now that we've said, okay, this is when he's going to have his group appointment for this, right? So now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put in our location. We're going to do the MD group, right? And then who our patient is going to be. So we find our patient. This is going to be for VGH trans pain. The reason for it. So let's say breathing loss. The priority, next available one. Who wanted them to go in? Now, no interpreter. This is going to be an in-person. And yeah, they want a home phone. And then I would put in a number here. Move it over. And then I could see where the schedule, if I knew which days it was, I could see the class schedules, right? So then I just drag and drop it down to that schedule. I get red books, I'm good. I confirm the appointment. Here is the stuff for the class. And then you just do okay, give it a outpatient encounter. And it's thinking about it. And in our build domains, it's a little slower. So it's catching up to itself.
Mhm. Oh, okay. So basically I can, once I see who have registered for the class, I can enter them under that group. And
Right.
then later on, if they do, like they registered but didn't show up, I can always like just say no show.
Correct. Or you
Okay.
can cancel it.
Okay.
You know, if they call you and say, I'm sorry, we can't make it tonight
Mhm.
to the class, you didn't do cancel, right?
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
if they actually didn't no-show, then you can no-show them.
Mhm. Okay.
So you have multiple ways of doing that.
Yeah.
So if you look down here in our group, you'll now say it says one of 9,
Mhm.
and it lists the person I just booked there.
Okay. And in this way, entering it prior, because in PCS, I enter it after. So when I enter it prior, they also get a notification.
Correct.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's awesome.
So you can set it up for the AAR so it'll remind them to do it, right?
Mhm.
So, but you have to have it done. I think we have you set it 3 days.
3 days. Yeah. Yeah.
So they have to be into the system and confirmed before the 3rd day,
Mhm.
3 days before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as you know, as you can see, it blocked off the provider's schedule here so that they know that they are tied up in the class.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's see, let's go back over to our slides. So that's just how you create groups. Here's another thing where you'd see is where you both the MD group and the providers blocked. Your group details so that you can understand how they cross to each other. It gives you the group session type, the description of it, and then the location in which it's being done at. Okay, we talked about the groups. We don't need any new ones. We're just going to use what we have and use the names for adjusting. All right. We talked about the group of preps. We're going to take out the the Zoom link out of the preps so that you can generate them directly. This is, I just copied that whole sheet that you gave for classes, and that was just inputted in here. So let's talk about the orders real quick, just so you're familiar with them, Grace. So we have the referral to outpatient transitional pain. This is what the other providers are looking at. So you can know what they're looking at. They put in whether they think it's the next available, how they think the patient ought to be seen, and your location. And then they have to put in a referral for it, a reason for the referral. This is that visit modality field on their side, and that's what will drive the AAR. So it's very important that we get that filled out. The accept referral, this is when the provider accepts the referral package or referral the new patient. They're going to send you this accept referral order. And they will tell you whether or not they wanted to go to the triage call first or book directly to the provider. This is how they can tell you what kind of visit modality they want you to do instead of what the referral provider requested. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Here was the follow-up order. So this is the follow-up clinic order for transitional pain. This has the nurse new, which is the assessment trans pain. There's the case conference. So if they want this patient to go to case conference, they're going to select the follow-up order and case conference, and then that's how you will know to book a case conference. And they should, in their special instructions, tell you when they want that case conference. There's the MD follow-ups, the MD groups, and then the RN follow-ups. All right. So then now we have the one for PT, and they have the acupuncture on there, the PT new, and the follow-ups. So they'll just select what they want, and then that will show up on your request list. So you will know how to book it. There's one for OT. There's one for pharmacy. There's a follow-up for psychology that has the group, the screening, which is the new, and the psychology follow-up post, pre and post. Then there's actually a procedure order called acupuncture also. It's actually called schedule acupuncture in the orders. And they would just put in here, they want it in person, of course. Then when do they want it? The appointment's going to be acupuncture, and she'll put in whatever special instructions they want for setting up that acupuncture appointment. Do you have any questions about your order?
No, it's good. Thank you.
Okay. Again, this is back to the request list. All of those orders will come to this request list, and then that's how you will book your patients from them. So we're going to look at the reports real quick. So we have their personal appointment book report. It's pretty much like the patient itinerary report. It just doesn't have all those preps. This is just the appointments. So this one has the date, the time, the appointment type, who it's with, the duration, the location, and the person. So this report looks across the entire enterprise. And if they have an appointment in the system that is not restricted, you will see it on this person itinerary report for the date and time in which you pulled the report for. So if you wanted this for the next week, If they had appointments in other areas, they would show up here. The schedule summary. This is kind of a detailed report. This gives you a lot more information, like a date, a time, what kind of appointment type. If there was ever any scheduling comments put in when you were booking those patients, they would show up on here. Person's name, the PHN, encounter MRN, their age, gender, their phone numbers, dates of birth, addresses. And then this kind of gives you a little bit better. This will tell you the resources that are assigned to them. So this one has to the provider, and this is to the MD group. Do you have any questions on this report?
No, it's all good, Brian.
Okay. This is the single location one for VGH TransPain. This is a smaller version of this one. It just doesn't have a lot of the extra details on it. It gives you just a more condensed version of the appointment. This is a single location schedule detail. This has, again, more detailed information. This is a pivot table. This is the more important one, I think. I don't know if you will be running this race or not, but if you are, this report allows you to look back at a certain time frame, and you can look to see every appointment that's made in your clinic and what state their appointments are in and how many they did for the month. So you can make it very customizable. I am not I believe you have that ability in PowerChart for you. But if you go into PowerChart and you go to discern reporting tool, and as we do backloading, it will start taking you through the classes. They will show you how to use this more in depth. But we have what we call a scheduling stats pivot table. So we're going to run this. And it's going to come up with a window here. This is all of the questions and prompts it's wanting you to do. So when do you want it to start looking at? I'm going to go back a month. Till now, I want all appointment statuses. You have the ability to add patient actual data to it, or you could do just the appointment stats. The appointment types, just leave it at all. And then for your location, we're going to drill down to your clinic. And that tells us everything within your clinic, any appointment types and any statuses. So I'm going to do OK. And it says there's 25 appointments in there. But this gives you this way, and it's not very helpful. So you're going to go over here to this little funnel cup for filters. Go to settings. And here you can add more granular detail to what you want to look at. So I want to look at the appointment type displays. So this tells me every appointment type and their name and how many's there. I also want to know which one is it? This is the grouping of it, and it kind of breaks it out more, and it tells you how each one plays out. So you can look at actual, like OT, PT, anybody specific, and you can look at their numbers. It's actually very easy to use. You can add fields, take fields away, and it just kind of like you can play with it. You have any questions?
Yeah, Brian. So for this one, I can customize it. Like, let's say for Dr. Mian, I want to see for the whole month, like just specifically for Dr. Mian. Can we do that?
No, this one does for appointment types. I do believe there's another one for providers. Let me check something here. Okay, that's ordering provider. Primary resource. So there you go.
Okay.
By the resource, you can see Dr. Butterfield had 3 appointments. He had a new and 2 follow-ups for that time frame. So yes, you can do it through here.
Mhm. And if I wanted to show who those patients are, I can just select that from the very beginning, right? Because it had that
Correct.
option. Yeah. Okay, great.
So that way would allow you to be able to get more granular detail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And you said we're not sure if I have access to this reporting.
You should.
I should. Okay.
As a clerk, you should have access to
Okay.
this. We just want, when we get you your access and get you signed in, we need to have you look at it and make sure you are able to see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
That way you can do your reports.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the stats report. Then we have a generic one. This is what we call an appointment type group. This is kind of like your stats report, just that it just tells you every appointment type for the date and time, the MRN, the patient's name, confirmed, and their PHN. So it kind of gives you a high overview of what is in your clinic. Okay, so that's it for the reports. Do you have any questions, Grace?
None so far. Thank you.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's talk about cutover. I have down, we have about approximately 500 appointments that are into the future. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Well, right now we have a wait list running now at about 6 weeks, is from what I saw in an email.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will help us in prepping for our cutover, and everything is in PCIS, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we will pull an extract from that, and then that's how we will set up your backloading event and getting you set up for your go live. Okay, so to review some changes that we need to make.
Sorry, Brian. Hi,
Yes.
it's Love. I just have a question for Grace. Were you able to connect with Lana or someone else from your clinic about the reference text for the outpatient referral?
Which one is it for the, sorry.
Like just the 6-week wait list there kind of triggered me about you had wanted to update
Oh, yes.
Um,
Well, they're actually gonna have a meeting on Thursday and talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we're,
Um,
I think we should just keep it the way it is. It's just that we, as of now, normally we do have like just a 2-week wait list right now. But because of the CST going on and we have like an increased volume of post-op referrals, it kind of went up to 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but in general, we normally have 2 weeks. So it's only now, it's because this is happening. So I don't know if we just want to keep it that way, and then we can always, I normally just send notification anyways if there's any changes with the wait list to the referring doctors.
right.
So I don't know. We'll keep you updated on Thursday, I guess.
Brian, or is it Steven? Did you need that reference text by a certain time?
Oh, okay.
I think there's a build
So
deadline.
so the update to reference text is actually pretty quick. So it probably, once you get the reference text over to me, I can make the change in probably like 3 minutes. So
Oh, perfect.
yeah, it's not a big change. So when you have it, I can update it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, so Grace, just let us know if the team has read that updated reference text and if they wanted to change the wording around it or not, to just let us know and just reply to the email.
Yeah,
That'll be
for
done.
sure. Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
All righty. So I have that, we need to remove the Zoom links from all the preps. I'm gonna update the time for a nurse assessment appointment to 60 minutes. And then for Alex, Sarah, Lane, and the other RN, it's Wednesdays and Thursdays for their schedules instead of Wednesdays and Fridays. So those will be my changes. So I will communicate those to you, Grace, when I'm done. But do you have any other questions or concerns?
No, that's okay.
Then we will call this as validated. Any further changes or anything will be done via email. So we'll finish up any of these changes that we had, and then any other follow-ups will be done by email. So if you don't have anything else, or Love or Stephen, then I think we are good for today.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.